Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage and welcome back to Community Fridays. This week we have a deck posted in the Base Damage Discord by Husky Ninja titled Highest Shadow. And this is focusing obviously for the Eminence and Shadow set and a couple different combinations and things in here that are just way too fun. Obviously, one of the first things that kind of made me chuckle was seeing Ultimate Shadow here because a while back I may have done something very evil to Husky on a stream one time, so here's that clip. Pay 2, pitch 2, pitch 3, because I don't have the stock for any of these other ones. Here we go. Burn 3. GG's on the first. Oh, we finished it. It keeps going. Can we push to 4?
Yeah.
I pushed to level 5. I didn't think it kept going. But shenanigans aside, let's go ahead and take a look at the deck that was sent in today. So thank you very much, Husky, for sending this in. No harm, right? No hate from that clip. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Starting off with 3 copies of Ultimate Shadow. This is a common. This is one of the funniest cards in the entire set, and I love it. So, say 3-2-9-5. When this is placed on stage from your hand, you can send one other Eminence and Shadow character from your stage into your waiting room. If you do, choose up to 2 characters in your waiting room and return them to your hand. So typically what you're going to do with this is you're going to grab back 2 more copies of himself, because the Climax combo requires 2 copies of himself for cost. At the beginning of your attack phase, if you do not have another character in your center stage, you may pay the cost, which is 2 stock, 2 copies of him, discard from hand, and then discard an additional 3 cards from hand, and sack the Climax, the I Am, leading to the I Am Atomic. Send all of that to the waiting room. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent 5 times. Count it, 5 times. And this card gets 2k power till end of turn. That's insane. That's just really funny, and I think it's one of the coolest card effects in all of Eminence, let alone one of the funnest ones in all of Weiss, if you couldn't tell from that previous clip. So very fun here and definitely worth including in this deck. So 1 copy of Engaging the Enemy Alpha. This seems to be from the trial deck. It's a 3-2-8-5. Placed on stage from hand, you may put the bottom card of your clock into waiting room. I autopilot with a lot of effects like this. I'm very sorry. Bottom card of your clock into waiting room, which is interesting in case you have an alarm effect you want to keep. So, understandable. And when this attacks, choose one of your Eminence characters. It gets a buff equal to 1,000 times the number of Eminence Shadow characters you have. So you could pick herself, and if you had a full board, that's 5k. That's not insignificant. Holy shit. Okay, I just realized, I was like, damn, that's big. She get big. The shit just strong for no reason. Anyway, very big there. 1 copy of Lesson Time Shadow is a 3-10,500. When this attacks, you may put the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If that card is Unfortunate Event or an Eminence and Shadow character, deal X damage to your opponent. X is equal to the level of that character. The Unfortunate Event is an event, funny enough. I don't know if she runs it in this deck. I'll check after this. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if playtime's over is in your Climax area, you may pay 4 stock. If you do, restand this card. So possibly getting to do the burn effect twice, obviously. So the event, I do not see any events in here because usually they're put on deck log after the level 0s. So she probably doesn't run that event. So it's just based off of that. Oh, she has 2 copies of it in the deck. I'm sorry. Yeah, because the SR was an alternate art. So she does run 2 copies of that particular Climax combo. 2 copies of Her Resolve Alpha is a 3-2-10k. Placed on stage from hand, look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card amongst them. Put it into your hand, put the rest in the waiting room. Then, does she run Sortie? She does have Sortie. She does indeed run Sortie. So, when this card attacks, if Sortie is in your Climax area, and you have 2 or more other characters, but 1 or less other copies of Her Resolve Alpha, meaning no more than 2 copies of her on stage for this, you can pay 1, pitch 3. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. If that damage gets canceled, deal 3. If that 3 gets canceled, burn 4. So, just very funny, and then her damage afterwards. So she's really trying to knock off Climaxes off top of the deck. So very fun combo there. Even though it's very stock intensive, it's one of those things of something's going to happen here. So very cool. 2 copies of Reflection Akane Nishino is a 2-1-5k level assist to characters in front. and an act to put 2 cards from hand to waiting room and rest 2 of your characters. Choose one of your characters, and that character gets the following ability till end of turn. If this card would attack, you may choose one character in your opponent's backstage, and that this card can, and the card you're targeting of yours can attack that backstage character as the defending character instead. So that is honestly really fun there. I do like effects that attack the back row. I like effects that snipe the back row, which is really fun. Just like, oh, you think they're protected in the back? Nope, get out of here. So just really funny there. 2 copies of Defeating Calamity Shadow is a 2/8K. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may pay the cost, which is 1 stock. If you do, choose one of your Eminence and Shadow characters, and this card, exchange them as standing. I really like this in any standby deck for field manipulation purposes. You can really mess with some people with stuff like this, and your opponent has to play accordingly. Because if your opponent sees it, it's like, they're just going to move. They're just going to move some shit around. If your opponent, if they don't read the card, you get to do some really fun shenanigans, so very fun there. 2 copies of Skill Demonstration Sid Kagano from the trial deck is a 2/17K. Placed on stage from hand, this gets 1,000 times the number of Eminence and Shadow characters you have, so full field, he would count himself, would be plus 5K again. Once again, all these plus like thousands amounts. It's just kind of crazy. Place on stage from hand, if you have 4 more other Eminence and Shadow characters, you may choose an Eminence and Shadow character in your waiting room and put it into your stock. So this could become a 12K full free, like just for no reason, and I do like that. So 2 copies of Surprise Visit Alpha, 2/1500. If you have 4 or more Eminence and Shadow characters, this gets -1 level in your hand. If there's a marker underneath this, this gets 10,500, making her 11. Now, you do have to have a specific card. When this is placed on stage from hand, you may choose up to 1 Defeating Calamity Shadow in your waiting room and put it face up underneath this card as a marker. Do you have... I'm assuming you have... Yeah. Oh, it is the 2/1. It is the 2/1. I actually forgot about that completely. So you can put a copy of that face up underneath as a marker. Understandable. 2 copies of basically a free 2K backup. Form Restored Alpha, basically just a free 2K. Very, very good though from the trial deck. Very fun. 2 copies of Departure 7 Shadows, 1/15. When this card attacks, choose one of your other Eminence and Shadow characters, give it 1,500 power and character encore until end of your opponent's next turn. And this is a level 1 reverser. Just always fun to have those in case your opponent's doing some Kishube shenanigans. So 2 copies of the Sibling Sparring Claire Cogno. It's a vanilla 1/17K. So was that from the trial deck? That is from the trial deck. I'm assuming, is this one also trial deck? Yeah, okay, so she included several of the vanillas just for the stat buff, I'm assuming. 2 copies of Arriving at School Akane, 1/55, and moving on to 3 copies of Ignoring Orders Delta, 1/04K. If there's a marker underneath this card, this gets 3K power, making her a 7K. Place on stage from hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an Eminence and Shadow character, you may put it face up underneath this card as a marker. So just gets really big. And I did look at the deck beforehand, so I did see that there was 3 copies of the same card, just one of them was an alternate art. So it is 3 copies of Dramatic Entrance Alpha is the PR. It's a 1/15, placed on stage from hand, draw 2, pitch 2. And when this is placed on stage from hand, all players perform the following action. If their memory has 5 or more cards, they choose 4 cards in their memory and put all cards in the memory except those 4 back into the waiting room. So if your opponent's trying to like hyper compress some memory shenanigans, like she says no to that. But also just showing off because the PR looks so pretty. Like this looks so sick. But all their PRs are like really, really nice, but it's also very hard to read this text right here with the picture that they posted on for Decklog. Just saying. Onto the zeros. 2 copies of In Disguise Beta is a 0/01K. If you have 1 or less other characters in your center stage, you can have more characters in the backstage, but just in center stage, this gets minus level, +1 level and 2,500 power, making it a level 1 3,500. That, in addition to that buff, at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this card to an open position of your center stage with a character facing this card. So she can just run in front of reversers and just be like, nope. Nothing happening today, kids. Very cool there. 4 copies of Reporting in Alpha. This is the trial deck Brainstormer, so it's a pay 1, rest this, mill 5 for each climax reveal, draw 1. During your main phase or attack phase, when you draw a card, choose one of your characters, and that character gets +1,000 power till end of turn. This is only a once per turn effect, but if you had a book trigger, you actually can, and draw off of that, you actually could trigger this during the attack phase, which is why it says that. So otherwise, if you draw off of her own effect, you get to give somebody a buff, which is very nice. So 3 copies of Loved by All, Akane 002K. If your hand has 5 or more cards, this gains 2K, leaving her at a 4,000 buff. So she actually has 4 copies of it. Just one is, she pulled the triple rare. Okay, so this is the triple rare art for it. So 4 copies of that. 2 copies of New Beginning Sid Kagano, 002K. During your turn, this card gets 1,000 power, and when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, choose one of your other Eminence and Shadow characters, rest it, move it to an open position of your backstage. So this is the clean cut effect that a lot of older players are familiar with. So that is that. And that's from the trial deck, which I thought was really cool, is just straight out the trial deck, really fun. Climax is not running the Climax combo, but 2 copies of the Final Match, the standby, just very fun to do standby shenanigans in any deck. 2 copies of Playtime's Over, which is a book trigger, so that actually does matter for the trial deck. I forgot about that. 2 copies of I Am for the Ultimate Shadow Climax combo, and then 2 copies of Sortie. So we do have 4 pants in here. You can kind of do whatever you need at whatever time. But it is also kind of funny that if you do standby in the Ultimate Shadow and you can fulfill all the other conditions, you can do his shenanigans at level 2, which is honestly funny to me. So I do like that. So that is going to be it for us today. A big thank you once again to Husky Ninja for sharing your deck in the Base Damage Discord. If you want to do so yourself, maybe see it on a video one day, feel free to join the Base Damage Discord. There'll be a link in the description. There are 2 specific channels in there. There is a decklist submissions channel for just whatever stuff you want to share, but there is also a Community Fridays channel as well. Feel free to post in either of those. As long as you post a deck log link, it is more likely to be shown on the channel. So that is going to be it for us. Everyone, stay safe, and as always, remember to stay based.